Chelsea have just beaten Leicester City 3-1 to get their first win away from home in the Premier League. Chelsea brought in 7 new players to a team that was yet to fully understand his system in the first place, so difficulty in dealing with that crazy January transfer window was number 2. Number 3, Potter had to deal with 11 first-team injuries since he took over the club. And the fourth and final issue was that Potter faced tons of pressure because of the new ownership. Todd Boehly and co were trying to sprint in a marathon by adding so much talent to the squad in one window and replacing a manager in Tuchel who in many Chelsea fans' opinions was sacked way too soon. So my overarching point at the time was that the fans and the media need to have some patience. Give Potter some time to prove himself, because he has shown with limited resources at Brighton that he has what it takes to play an amazing brand of football. And with Chelsea's resources, sky's the limit for this guy. And since that loss to Southampton at home, Chelsea have 3 wins in 4 in all competitions. They've scored 6 goals and conceded just 3, and they're outperforming their XG both for and against. And guess what? Despite being currently 10th place in the Premier League, Chelsea are just 4 points behind Newcastle in 6th and 5 points behind Liverpool in 5th, which means they could still qualify for Europa League next season. So before we get into analyzing Potter's tactics in this game, Chelsea fans, please back your manager, because you never know how good Potter can be in the long run for your club. And as always, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to never miss out on content just like this. A few days after Enzo Fernandez signed for Chelsea, I analyzed how he will fit into Potter's system. And by the way, link in the description below for both videos I've talked about so far. And in that video, I talked about how Potter loves tinkering with his formations based on the opposition he's facing. And the proof is in the pudding, because he played 13 different formations in the 21-22 season as Brighton manager. But his preferred formation at Brighton was the 3-4-2-1, and before signing Enzo Fernandez, he was going back and forth between the 3-4-2-1 and the 4-2-3-1. Since signing Enzo, however, Potter has used the 4-2-3-1 for all games in February to fit in all the pieces they signed in the January transfer window. And the results were absolutely disastrous, as they drew 2 and lost 3 in 5 games, ending with the 2-0 loss to Tottenham. Since that loss, Potter decided to go back to his back 3 system and got 3 wins on the bounce against Leeds, Dortmund, and Leicester City today. My point being that Potter is likely to continue with this back 3 system for at least a few games, as it provides the tactical and positional flexibility that he likes, and it can get the best out of the players in his squad at the moment. So Chelsea started in the 3-4-3 that you see on your screen today, but actually played in a 3-2-2-3 in possession that looked like this. In this shape, you had Mudryk playing centrally with Loftus-Cheek and Chilwell on either side. And in behind those two were Havertz and Felix in the inside spaces operating as 10s. Then Enzo Fernandez and Kovacic were the double pivot in midfield, who were primarily tasked with building up the play from central areas to these wide areas here, and occasionally getting forward themselves. And the back 3 of Fofana, Koulibaly, and Cucurella added another layer of positional flexibility, because Potter usually wants the left and right center backs to take turns to double up as wing backs. So occasionally you'd have Fofana getting into this area forward here, and other times you would have Cucurella getting forward to provide attacking support here. So considering that, this shape looked more like a 2-3-2-3 in possession when they were attacking Leicester City really high in their own half. And the biggest surprise in this shape was Mykhailo Mudryk playing the number 9/false 9 role. And I actually thought he did pretty well. So let's talk about why Mudryk through the middle could be the answer for Potter's system moving forward. So Graham Potter's football philosophy has 3 basic tenets. He wants his players to be tactically flexible and play multiple positions. He relies on that flexibility to create overloads in attacking areas, and he hopes to pin oppositions in their own half with those overloads to create lots of chances and win the game. So basically, he believes that attack is the best form of defense. Now, we've talked a lot about Potter's system, formations, and philosophy in this video, so if you feel like you've learned anything about this team or even something about football in general, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notifications, because it allows me to keep creating content just like this. Now, in Potter's 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, the front five are expected to show that tactical and positional fluidity so that the system creates overloads in attacking areas. And this fluidity starts with the number 9 role that Mudryk was playing in today. The striker or center forward usually moves out wide to pull one of the center backs with him, which creates more room through the middle for runners like Havertz or even one of the midfielders like Enzo Fernandez or Kovacic to get in. And this can also create overloads in wide areas if Havertz decides to stay here, which creates even more space on the other side for Chilwell and Felix to make runs into the box. And Mykhailo Mudryk is actually perfect for this number 9 role, as we saw in several moments today. He was making these runs in between the channels between the two center backs, so in between Fes and Sutar here, or in between Sutar and Amarte on the left hand side. And this created several moments that we saw where Havertz was running through the middle and Felix was also running through the middle. And basically it was a nightmare for Leicester's back five to defend against, because Fes, Sutar, Amarte, Mendy and Dewsbury Hall really didn't know who to mark. And I was also pleasantly surprised by Mudryk's hold-up play today in central areas, as he was dropping deep several times to pick up the ball, link up the play and make runs in behind. So let's take a look at some footage of Mudryk playing centrally today. In our first clip, we start with Felix driving forward with the ball in the inside spaces on the left-hand side, with Chilwell outside him and Mudryk ahead of him. As Felix gets towards the edge of the box, Mudryk makes the run in between Amarte and Sutar, which forces Sutar to follow him into this space here. And because of Mudryk's movement, Felix has the space to run into Leicester's box through the middle, but he ends up being crowded out by the Leicester defenders around him. The point here is that a diagonal run from Mudryk to go from in to out creates space for the number 10s in behind him, and he was actually making these runs all day, but he wasn't actually found by his teammates many times. And as a Chelsea fan, you can expect to see a lot more dummy runs and balls in behind once the team chemistry improves. In our second clip, we start with Koulibaly being put under pressure by the Leicester player, so he plays the ball into midfield. And we see Mudryk dropping deep to offer an out ball, and he lays it off to Felix in this area. Felix takes a few touches and plays it forward to Havertz, who drives forward with it about 20 yards to end up on the right wing. As we pause here, watch how Mudryk is about to make a run in between Fash and Sutar, which pulls Fash out of position. And it creates a pocket of space in the middle for Loftus-Cheek, Enzo Fernandez and Felix to get into. Now, if Havertz could have created a passing angle into this space, Chelsea had several overloads with 1-2s in between the 4 players and third man runs to potentially create a chance for Chelsea. Again, the point here is that Mudryk's movement in the number 9 role creates space for the 3 or 4 attacking players that are behind him, and as the squad gets used to Potter's system, they'll start to become deadly in moments like these. In this clip, we start with Maddison getting pressed by Fofana as he receives a pass from Castagne. As Fofana wins the tackle, Mudryk is ready to pounce on the loose ball. And his movement here again forces Sutar to get out of position from the area that he was in earlier, which creates space centrally for Chelsea. As Mudryk is about to play this pass here, look at how well Chelsea are positioned on the counterattack. They're basically 3v3 with tons of space through the middle, and if Mudryk can find a ball past these 2 defenders here in front of him, Havertz is clean through on goal. Unfortunately, the ball from Mudryk is a poor one and Sutar is able to put it out. Yet again, Mudryk's diagonal runs create space for a Chelsea attack that didn't come to fruition today, but has potential to create havoc in the future. In our final clip, Cucurella picks up the ball in defense and he's ready to fire the ball into midfield in this area. And we see Mudryk dropping really deep to pick up the ball in time and space, and he spins and starts dribbling towards the Leicester goal as we see a 3v5 opportunity for Chelsea. And as a Leicester fan in this moment, you might think that you're relatively safe with 5 men behind the ball. As Mudryk curls his run towards the right hand side, it drags Sutar towards him yet again, and pay attention to Sutar's positioning for the rest of this clip because he never recovers from this movement here. As we play along, Mudryk times a perfect pass for Loftus-Cheek on the outside, and Loftus-Cheek plays a first time ball for Felix to put it in the back of the net. Unfortunately for Chelsea, obviously, Felix was ruled offside and the goal was disallowed, but look at Sutar's positioning here. He could have been a few yards deeper if Mudryk didn't pull him out of position, and him being 6'6", he could probably slide across and stop that cross from Loftus-Cheek, but the cross goes through, and had Felix timed his run properly, that's a goal created for the most part by Mudryk's involvement. So Chelsea fans, what did you think of Mudryk's performance today? Were you happy? Were you surprised? Do you think he can fit into this team as the number 9 moving forward? Get in the comments with your thoughts. In closing thoughts, there was a lot to like about Chelsea's performance today, and when Chelsea signed Enzo Fernandez and sold Jorginho, I was worried about their best midfield pairing being Enzo and Kovacic in a 2, which would create defensive problems. But in this 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 shape, the midfield is actually looking really good because they have enough defensive cover in the 3 behind them and some cover from the wing backs if they want to join the attack. And Chelsea were absolutely running the midfield today. Enzo had 93 touches, 88% pass accuracy, 1 spectacular assist for that Havertz goal, 7 passes into the final third with 5 accurate long balls, and he won 2 tackles and 6 out of his 12 ground duels. Kovacic, who was my man of the match, had 87 touches, 2 dribbles completed, 88% pass accuracy, 1 spectacular volleyed goal, 10 passes into the final third, and 2 tackles and interceptions with 6 ground and aerial duels won. Once Thiago Silva and Reece James come back into this team, Chelsea will look even better than they did today, and with some continuity, become a scary team to play against. Thank you guys for watching. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and don't forget to turn on your bell notifications to never miss out on content just like this.